The 19th century was a turning point in Indian history, as the British solidified their rule while social reforms and nationalist sentiments took root. Early 19th century, expansion of British power and social reforms. At the dawn of the century, British influence grew rapidly. In 1801, the Nawab of Awadh was forced to surrender vast territories, bringing North India further under British control. The following year, the Treaty of Baisine, 1802, placed the Peshwa under British protection, triggering the Second Anglo-Maratha War, 1803 to 1805. The British defeated powerful Maratha rulers like Scindia and Holkar, making them dominant in the Deccan. Meanwhile, British policies began reshaping India's economy and society. The Charter Act of 1813 ended the East India Company's trade monopoly and allowed Christian missionaries to operate freely. But territorial expansion continued. The British fought the Anglo-Nepalese War, 1814 to 1816, forcing Nepal to cede territories under the Treaty of Sugauli. The Marathas, once powerful, were crushed in the Third Anglo-Maratha War, 1817 to 1818, bringing all of India under British dominance. The British then turned eastward, annexing Assam, Manipur, and parts of Burma after the First Anglo-Burmese War, 1824 to 1826. Social reforms gained momentum during this period. In 1829, Governor-General William Bentinck, influenced by Raja Ram Mohan Roy, abolished sati, a practice where widows were forced to self-immolate on their husband's funeral pyres. Mid-19th century, revolts, reforms and British expansion. As British rule deepened, new institutions and ideas emerged. Raja Ram Mohan Roy established the Brahmo Samaj in 1830, promoting education and social reform. The Charter Act of 1833 created the position of Governor-General of India, first held by Lord William Bentinck, while the English Education Act of 1835 made English the medium of instruction. Meanwhile, British military campaigns continued. The First Anglo-Afghan War, 1839 to 1842, ended in disaster for the British, with their retreat from Kabul proving humiliating. However, they recovered and extended their influence in India. In the First Anglo-Sikh War, 1845 to 1846, the British defeated the once mighty Sikh Empire, forcing Punjab into submission. This was followed by the Second Anglo-Sikh War, 1848 to 1849, after which Punjab was fully annexed. Technological advancements marked the mid-century. In 1853, India's first railway line was opened between Mumbai and Thane, revolutionizing transport. The first telegraph line, connecting Kolkata and Diamond Harbour, was also introduced. However, British policies angered many Indians. The doctrine of lapse, used to annex princely states without direct heirs, led to the seizure of Awadh in 1856. On the social front, reformer Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagha successfully campaigned for the Widow Remarriage Act, allowing widows to remarry. 1857 Revolt, the First War of Independence. Resentment exploded in 1857 when Indian soldiers, sepoys, in the British Army rebelled against their European officers. The revolt, led by figures like Rani Lakshmi Bai, Bahadur Shah II, Nana Sahib, and Tantia Tope, shook British rule. While initially successful, the uprising was brutally crushed. In 1858, the British Parliament passed the Government of India Act, ending the rule of the East India Company and bringing India under direct control of the British Crown. Late 19th century, rise of nationalism and social awakening. With the rebellion crushed, the British introduced administrative changes. The Indian Councils Act of 1861 allowed limited Indian participation in governance. Meanwhile, Swami Vivekananda, born in 1863, would later inspire a spiritual and nationalist awakening. In 1869, Mahatma Gandhi was born in Gujarat, destined to lead India's freedom struggle. Religious and social movements emerged. In 1875, Swami Dayananda Saraswati founded the Arya Samaj, advocating a return to Vedic traditions. 2 years later, at the Delhi Durbar of 1877, Queen Victoria was declared Empress of India, symbolizing the consolidation of British rule. However, growing discontent led to restrictive policies like the Vernacular Press Act of 1878, which curbed Indian journalism. The late 19th century also saw efforts to politically organize against colonial rule. The first complete census of India was conducted in 1881, revealing the vast diversity of the country. The Ilbert Bill controversy, 1882, which proposed allowing Indian judges to try Europeans, faced fierce opposition from British settlers, highlighting racial discrimination. In 1885, the Indian National Congress (AINC) was founded in Bombay, laying the foundation for future nationalist movements. By the end of the century, nationalist ideas spread beyond religious and political spheres. In 1893, Swami Vivekananda delivered his famous speech at the World Parliament of Religions in Chicago, introducing Indian spirituality to the world. However, British rule remained oppressive. When Lord Curzon became Viceroy of India in 1899, his policies fueled nationalist resentment, setting the stage for a more intense struggle for independence in the 20th century. This century saw India transition from a land of diverse kingdoms to a fully colonized territory under the British Crown. However, it also saw the seeds of resistance being sown, seeds that would grow into a full-fledged independence movement in the decades to come.